What's up, Redeemers? Welcome back to Redemption 46 Studios. I'm Nick.
I'm Low.
Keith.
I'm Jarek.
And I'm Ty.
Y'all seen the thumbnail. Y'all know the vibes. Y'all been banging on the table for us to do a guide. Don't get too up in arms. Whoever y'all don't see here, we'll probably do a guide again with them and get a whole nother reaction going on. But for right now, y'all got my boys.
I know y'all miss Nas and his muscles.
And Kurt in his wisdom.
Kurt and his
The
wisdom.
teacher.
Zena, Kay, Zach, Nas, everyone will be here for another edition. But
Yeah, they're here in spirit for right now.
Yeah, they're here in spirit for right now. This is the BTS guide, y'all. This probably is, I think, the best guide for us to watch, too, because it literally is updated. So it's caught all the way up to now.
Nice.
I ain't going to do too much talking. We can jump right into the shit. And we'll be taking notes, y'all, and we probably aren't going to pause, so y'all can be mad in the comments, but just, it is what it is.
And if you're watching this, I just want to take this time out to say what I had, because that means you're a Patreon, and this is exclusive to you. This will never see the light of day on YouTube.
We appreciate you.
All right.
Bang tang!
Bang tang, boys.
Today, everyone knows the name of BTS. They've been invited onto late night talk shows, they've shattered records, they've sold out stadiums, they've made it onto the big
got that
screen.
D-Wade jersey.
These
Yeah.
days,
The South
you'd be
is
hard
on
pressed
too.
to find someone who didn't know who these guys were, or at least haven't heard one of their songs. And if they don't, either they've been living under a rock, or they're 100 years old. The success of the Bang
You see us in our phones, we're taking notes too,
worldwide,
yo.
but it wasn't always like this.
The very existence of BTS can be owed to its founding father, an innovator by the name of Hitman Bang. His idea to create a rap group was somewhat inspired by YG. In the late 90s, he
YG.
experimented with this idea with different trainees, eventually choosing 7 members. And while 3 of them eventually left, the remaining 4, Teddy, Den, Jinhwan, and Baekhyun, debuted in 1998 as
Teddy.
One Time. Their first album, titled One Time for Your Mind, was one of the year's best-selling albums and won several awards, including the Global Disc and SBS Music Awards for Best New Artist and KMTV's Award for Best Hip Hop Artist. The
Were
group
they,
enjoyed
like, second
moderate success and
generation?
Released 4 more albums
No, I
before
think
going on
they-
indefinite
which
hiatus
group?
in
That group.
2006 due to their mandatory military
Might be
service.
first.
That's first.
The year was 2010, and the 5-year-old company Big Hit Entertainment
Nah, there was a
had
group
previously
before
signed
1998.
8 and 2 a.m. They had their share of successes, but they
All I
were
heard
very
about is them,
traditional
for real.
K-pop groups. Big Hit wanted a fresh new sound, and upon listening to One Time, CEO Hitman Han had decided that that was the sound that he was looking for. And on top of that, the youth needed someone to relate to, and more importantly, look up to. He had decided he would create a hip-hop group.
Remizzle.
At 15 years old,
Uni.
Kim Namjoon auditioned for a certain Big Deal Records, which he completely botched, forgetting the lyrics to the song he was performing. Afterwards, fellow rapper Sleepy recommended that he try auditioning at another label, Big Hit, and even put in a good word for him to one of the producers there. At age 16, Namjoon auditioned in front of Bang Se-hyuk himself, and instantly impressed him. He was offered to deal with Big Hit on the spot, which Namjoon accepted and became a trainee, officially choosing a name for himself, Rap Monster, destined to become the leader of the newly created group. Now that a fearless leader was chosen, they needed more members.
Yuga.
Min Young-gi was a
Yugi.
17-year-old living in
Shooting
Daegu,
guard.
an avid basketball player and rapper. He had been interested in music,
He don't even look
especially
ass.
rap, from a very early age. And despite his parents' disapproval, started performing as a rapper while still in high school. He quickly gained attention as a rapper and producer in the underground hip-hop scene. One day he saw a flyer for a rap competition called Hit It and decided to participate. And although he only placed second, the company hosting the competition, you guessed it, Big Hit, decided to sign him on as a producer. Hitman Bang spoke with him afterwards, convincing him to join a newly created hip-hop group. He told him to just focus on rapping and assured him that he wouldn't need to dance. He was lying. And just like that, the new group had a second member, known as Suga, a combination of the first 2 syllables of shooting guard, his favorite position in basketball. But they wouldn't stop there. Rappers were nice, but Big Hit actually needed a dancer.
J-Ho!
Jung Ho-seok always loved dancing. He was in the starting lineup of the dance crew Neuron in his hometown, Gwangju. He was good at it too, winning several local championships and even winning a championship at the national level in 2008. While he did perform at several competitions hosted by JYP and even won some of them, he ultimately went on to audition for a smaller, lesser-known company, Big Hit Entertainment. His dance skills and strong understanding of rhythm made him an instant favorite, and he was signed on as J-Hope. Not only that, but they saw potential in him to become a rapper, which at this point he had little experience with. However, J-Hope made the decision to leave Big Hit until RM convinced both J-Hope and Big Hit that the group wouldn't be complete without him. He was right.
아니 근데 형 항상 중간고야 아니에요? 정호석 와야 된다고. 정호석 안 오면 진짜 안 된다고. 멤버분들 보고 온 거야 나 보면. 올해 했고 멤버 보고 왔다. 멤버 보고 왔어 진짜. 근데 난 진짜 네가 이렇게.
With the addition of J-Hope, the rap line was complete. Now they needed some singers. Now, just like how RM, an amazing rapper with a ton of experience, was chosen as the first official member of the rap line, it would only make sense that a legendary singer and dancer would be the perfect first member of the vocal line. Right?
Right.
Was it Jimin?
Enter Jin.
But Kim So-jin didn't have any sort of experience.
No
like that.
experience.
Believe it or not, one day when he was walking on the streets of his hometown, Anyang, he was approached by a representative of SM Entertainment with an offer to work for the company.
SM?
In typical Jin fashion, he never followed up with it because he believed it to be a scam. Apparently, Jin was a very good-looking guy because years later, this time as a college student in Seoul, he was once again approached on the street, this time by an executive at Big Hit Entertainment.
I missed the old logo.
That shit look like downtown.
He didn't
So,
sing, he didn't dance.
he could have
was
been in
supposed to become
Super
an
M or
actor,
something
and
like
he decided
that.
to audition to become an actor. Big Hit, however, had different plans for him and convinced him to become a vocalist for their new group. To do so, he literally learned to dance and sing starting from zero. But thankfully,
So they
not
just
without
got him
help
'cause he
from
looked
other
good?
vocalists.
Worldwide handsome.
That was the only reason they picked him up.
So that was Jake.
Cookie.
Jung Jung-kook initially had dreams of becoming a badminton player when he was young, but after seeing G-Dragon perform Heartbreaker on television, it influenced him to want to become a singer instead. Because of this, at only age 14, he decided to audition for the South Korean talent show, Superstar K. He didn't pass auditions, but this was just enough to catch the eye of not one company, not two companies, but 7 different companies. This included JYP, FNC, Woollim, Starship Entertainment, TS, Cube, and of course, Big Hit Entertainment. So why did Jungkook, given the choice of all these big companies, decide to go with the relatively smaller company, Big Hit? The
Probably
answer
no pressure.
was simple. Because he thought, and I quote, RM was cool, so I wanted to sign with him.
That's funny as
That
shit.
brings the number of members to 5. The next member of BTS was just as surprised to find Big Hit as Big Hit was to find him, and it almost didn't happen.
So that was.
Oh, that was JK.
That was JK.
And now this is V.
Kim Tae-young was always passionate about music, and it was always his dream to pursue it as a career. However, it was hard, as his family was poor, his parents being humble farmers. His father told him that if he was passionate about music, he should learn an instrument, and he did, spending 3 years practicing with the saxophone. One day, one of his friends decided to audition for Big Hit
they do a
Entertainment
song
when
with
they
a
were holding
sax.
auditions in his hometown of
They need to.
Taeyong
I wanna
needed a
see
good
what he
friend
about.
with him to keep him company. But when one of the team members in charge of the audition saw Taeyong, he encouraged him to audition as well. With nothing to lose, he did. That day, he was the only one in Daegu to move on to the next round of auditions, and eventually became a trainee for Big Hit Entertainment. They decided to keep him as a surprise member and didn't want to reveal him as one of the members until his debut. In the same vein, Big Hit had him choose something mysterious for his stage name. He decided to go with V for victory. Here seems like a nice round number to stop, right? 6 members for a new hip-hop group, 3 rappers and 3 vocalists. It seems like a complete group, but still there was something missing. Someone was missing. Someone that could take this already great group of artists and push it even further to achieve perfection. A powerhouse. Someone so naturally talented that they could stand out in a room full of already talented artists. This project that Big Hit had embarked
And
upon
he does.
needed a capstone.
Jimmy!
Park Jimin was a naturally talented dancer. When he was in middle school, he attended a dance academy and continued to pursue dance at Busan High School of Arts, where he studied contemporary dance and was the top student in the whole modern dance department. Impressed by his raw talent, a teacher encouraged
a
him to
Romeo and
audition for
Juliet
Big Hit
type.
Entertainment, who were holding auditions in Busan. He was only 16 when he passed the audition and moved to Seoul to become a trainee. He was the final member of the group, and he also had the shortest training period. Interesting to note is that the group feels very much ragtag because, in a sense, with the exception of Jimin and J-Hope, It was. RM auditioned for Big Hit because he didn't pass his auditions with the first company he chose.
And despite their amazing talent, Suga and Jungkook didn't win the competitions they were in, but they signed on to Big Hit after the fact because of their high-quality performances. V never even planned on auditioning and just decided to do it on a whim. And they literally just found Jin on the streets, but perhaps it was fate, because this was the group that they chose. And just like that, in 2012, the newly created 방탄소년단, the Bulletproof Boy Scouts, were simply BTS.
The Bangtan Boys. I like Jin. He literally was just walking down the street and they was like,
That's
"You."
some G shit, bro. Like they sought me out. I just look
Still made the
good.
music. In early 2013, they set out to create some social media presence for themselves before officially debuting, posting song covers on both SoundCloud and YouTube, which you can still go watch today.
In May, Big Hit launched a countdown clock on their website in preparation for BTS's debut album, complete with a trailer and a ton of promotional material, including photos for the first time of all the members in the official lineup. Finally,
Yeah.
Big day came. June 12, 2013, BTS held a press conference and a debut showcase where they performed their two singles, No More Dream and We Are Bulletproof Part 2. The same day, the Too Cool for School album, as well as the music video for No More Dream, were released.
That joint hot. I remember that.
The very next day, BTS
money,
performed the song
money,
again
money.
on their official debut stage on Mnet's M Countdown.
Such a liar. All right, bro. Be safe.
This was the world's first taste of BTS. Commercially, the album didn't do extraordinarily well. The lead single, No More Dream, peaked at 124 in Korea, and the album sold only 24,000 copies during its first year. Bulletproof Part 2 didn't even chart. The first year wasn't all that great for BTS, but despite everything, people saw them. People saw the sparkle in their eyes and their limitless potential. And they were hot, of course. On July 9, ARMY was established as BTS's official fandom. They made their comeback only 2 months later in September when they released their single, No, along with their EP, part 2 of what would be their school trilogy, Oh, Are You Late Too? In the music video for the single, they made a commentary on the harsh Korean education system, along with their previous themes of hopes and dreams. No peaked at 92 in Korea.
That's actually
but
a dope
also quickly
concept.
fell off the charts. The album debuted at number 4 on the Gaon Weekly chart and was the 55th best-selling album in South Korea that year. This was enough to secure them the coveted New Artist of the Year award at the Melon Music Awards, the Golden Disc Awards, and the Soul Awards.
BTS.
Part 3 of the School Trilogy was released in February of 2014. The EP, School Love Affair. This time, the lead single was Boy in Love. And the other single being Just One Day.
I ran this shit all day.
The album, as well as both singles, enjoyed moderate success, with the album topping the Gaon album chart, as well as making its first international appearance at number 3 on the Billboard World Albums chart. The album also marked their first distinctive change in theme, focusing more on school life and young love, as evidenced by their Boy in Love music video. They also held their first fan meetings with a crowd of 3,000 in Seoul. BTS was doing well. That is, until July. This is, unfortunately, a dark chapter in the lives of BTS and ARMY. That's right. American Hustle Life. I'm joking, of course, but American Hustle Life was a reality show put together by Mnet that brought BTS to Los Angeles
It was
where they
in
had
LA
the
with
unique
the
opportunity to
goons.
learn the true ways of hip-hop from the masters. And it was a pretty darn cringy opportunity, but an opportunity nonetheless. Whatever you just
That ain't
don't watch the
fucking
orange
Coolio.
version of
Yep.
what you've been warned. However, cringe and all, the trip proved fruitful for BTS, making connections, performing their first US concert for free in front of 200 fans, as well as their first appearance
Warren
They
G
got-
is
they got-
just a
the next month in August.
they have a
BTS
track with
released
Warren
their
G.
first
I know, I saw it. I ain't
single,
listened to it yet, but I
Dark
saw it.
and Wild. The album featured 2 singles, Danger.
I never thought I'd see Coolio and BTS in the same room.
Coolio actually make more sense because he's like one of those
The album
songs
featured
that white
a
people
marked
like.
shift in sound with a
Warren G, though, that's just different.
electronica. It was met with moderate success. It peaked at number 2 in Korea, selling over 200,000 albums. In October and again in May of the following year, BTS went on their first and second concert tours, known as the Red Bullet Tour, where they visited 13 different countries, including Japan, the Philippines, Australia, the US, Mexico, and many others. They also came out with their first Japanese album in December, Wake Up, featuring many Japanese versions of their songs, as well as original tracks Wake Up and The Stars, followed by a Japan tour and a solo concert in Korea. Dark and Wild got decent attention, they needed something different. They needed something that would shake things up. They got to work. April 29, 2015 was their comeback. When this album was produced, each member had a hand in writing songs for the album. They again changed their sound, from aggressive hip-hop to youthful, colorful styles. And not only their sound, but their image as well. This can be evidenced by their newest EP, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life.
That's what I meant.
Just by looking at the album cover, they ditched the dark colors and the bulletproof vest symbol that had become so synonymous with BTS, and replaced it with a simple white and pink background overlaid with the title. And then, they dropped the single that would change everything. I Need You.
I need you, girl.
It was sentimental, it was hopeful, it was new. Just by looking at the music video, we can see that BTS has also ditched their punk bad boy image and replaced it with a more real, vulnerable, down-to-earth, and youthful feel. This proved to be the change that BTS needed for mainstream success. Billboard called it one of the greatest K-pop songs of the decade. It charted at number 5 in Korea, and even led them to their first music show win on SBS MTV's The Show. And that wasn't all, they released their second single, Dope, on June 24th, which started off with a poignant line from RM.
어서 와. 방탄은 처음이지?
Welcome. Is this your first time with BTS? And you know what? For a lot of people, it was. In a way, their first studio album and tour can be seen as their stepping stone between old school BTS and new school. In November, they came back with their follow-up EP, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 2, the second EP in what would be dubbed the Youth Trilogy, which featured the single Run. The album focused even more on the frivolity, friendship, and carefree attitude that comes with enjoying one's youth. But just like in I Need You, contrasted that with suffering, depression, loneliness, society, and the stark and sometimes dark reality of life. Compare this with the far cry of the No More Dreams music video. It felt real. It was darker, grittier, more humble, more meaningful, and most importantly, RM lost his mohawk. Run also connected narratively with their previous single, I Need You, and another video released in September titled On Stage Prologue established what would come to be known as the BTS universe, or the BU, which would eventually combine music videos,
Marvel
short
music in
films,
the background.
books, short stories,
Avengers.
webtoons, and even a mobile game to create a cohesive story. And I won't go down this rabbit hole because there is a lot
It's
to
a
digest,
big
but it's
rabbit
definitely something to look into if you're a hardcore ARMY. The same month, they kicked off their third tour, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life On Stage Tour, where they performed songs from their 2 recent EPs, Part 1 and Part 2. And Part 2 was a hit, their biggest so far. It topped the weekly Gaon album and Billboard World Albums charts. And on Billboard, it stayed there for multiple weeks, the first K-pop act to do so. It also appeared on the Billboard 200 albums chart. Not world albums, which was reserved for foreign non-English songs, but simply the top 200 albums, peaking at 171. Which is kind of amazing considering that this was back in 2015. They also received Best World Performer at the 17th Mnet Asian Music Awards. This brings us to Part 3 of the Youth Trilogy, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Young Forever, released on May 2nd, 2016, which featured probably my favorite BTS album cover. Young Forever was actually a compilation album of parts 1 and 2, so it was mostly the same songs, but it was notable that it had some new singles, Epilogue, Young Forever, Fire, and Save Me. The latter two performed exceptionally well, with both songs topping the Billboard World Digital Songs chart. This was also the second BTS album to chart on the Billboard 200 at 107, and it
Save
topped
Me was my
both
shit,
the Gaon
man.
weekly and monthly charts,
Save Me
which
and
earned
Fire.
BTS their first Daesang. Album of the Year at the 8th Melon Music Awards. They went on to do the second half of their tour, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life On Stage Epilogue, selling out many of their concerts and even selling out KCON in the US where they headlined the event. In September, they dropped their second Japanese album, Youth, featuring Japanese versions of tracks from the previous 3 EPs, which went gold and peaked at #1 on Japanese charts. And only a month later, in October of 2016, it happened. BTS dropped their second studio album, Wings. It sold
there it
over
is.
500,000 copies in its first week. In comparison, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 1, released just the previous year, which topped the Gaon chart, sold about 500,000 in its entire lifetime. Wings was big, but the true showstopper was its lead single, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which got them their first all-kill, topping 8 music charts in South Korea. Its music video gained 6 million views in the first 24 hours, which broke the YouTube record for the highest number of views of a K-pop group music video within 24 hours. The album hit number 26 on the Billboard 200, the highest ever charting K-pop album on Billboard. They ended up selling 1.5 million copies in South Korea in 2016 alone, and it netted them the Artist of the Year award at the Eminent Asian Music Awards that same year, the first non-Big 3 artist ever to receive that award.
수상자는
Bangtan Boys.
After Blood, Sweat, and Tears, they were on a roll. BTS was unstoppable. In February of 2017, they released the instant hit Spring Day, which, quoting a Korean reviewer, embodied nostalgia and sorrow and opened a new chapter in BTS's aesthetics and lyricism and attracted fans across generational boundaries. Which, by the way, is still on Korean charts after nearly 4 years. And the same day I'm writing this, it ranked number 53 on Melon. It won Song of the Year at the 9th Melon Music Awards. After the release of Spring Day, they went on yet another tour, the 2017 BTS Live Trilogy, Episode 3, The Wings Tour. The tickets sold out within minutes, including in the United States, the first K-pop artist to do so, and went on to win Best Social Artist at the Billboard Music Awards, the first for a Korean artist, but they would go on to win this award 4 years in a row. The next year was a period of massive growth for both the group's popularity as well as their style. They released the Love Yourself series, starting with Love Yourself Her in September of 2017, Love Yourself Tear in May of 2018, and Love Yourself Answer in August of 2018. 3 albums that gave us some of the most classic BTS songs that we know and love today, such as Mic Drop, Fake Love, Euphoria, Idol, and of course, all 3 albums were commercial successes. Her being their first album to top 2 million album sales. But Tear and Answer also did equally well. These 3 albums, as well as their Japanese album, Face Yourself, proved that they weren't done yet, not even close. During this time, they shattered countless records. Their singles went platinum, they topped charts, they won awards. And not only did they break YouTube records, but they broke records that they themselves set again and again and again. This is the period where BTS really started enjoying global recognition, working with huge Western artists such as Nicki Minaj, Designer, and Steve Aoki.
Designer got a
BTS.
Wait, what?
Wasn't that the original Mic Drop?
Without a doubt, the
Or the remix?
ever come out
Hey Nick, why you ain't show us that?
Even higher.
You didn't deserve it yet.
Again, for the Love Yourself World Tour.
Wow.
During this tour, they collaborated with Steve Aoki
Get-
to make the song Wasted on Me.
Show
Known for
Devin.
being
I want
their
to see
first
Devin.
all-English
There we
feature.
go.
And it also served as a jumping-off point for BTS to gain a following of English speakers. Not that they really needed the help, as they sold out concerts even in the US leg of the tour, including at Citi Field in Queens, New York, where tickets sold out in 20 minutes. And as if that wasn't enough,
I love
they
it, this
dropped the
guitar
movie in November,
instrumental
Burn the Stage,
for DNA.
which in the US alone grossed $3.54 million in the first weekend, breaking the record set by One Direction's
bless him.
movie This Is
No,
Us.
DNA.
In September, RM had the unique opportunity to
Gave a
speak at the United
speech.
Nations, where he spoke of anti-violence and self-love. 2 years
He just
later,
did that
he
again,
offered
what,
to speak
last
on
week?
a second occasion about persistence and hope in the face of challenge.
My dog's-
And to
my
top
dog
it all
on
off,
point.
in October, the president of South Korea awarded every member of BTS the 5th class Hwangwon Order of Cultural Merit for outstanding meritorious services in the field of culture and art, which is one of the highest South Korean orders of merit one can receive, and that's no exaggeration. 2019 estimates put BTS's contribution to the South Korean economy to the tune of $4.65 billion each year, an equivalent to 0.3% of the country's GDP. They were the youngest to ever receive the honor. 2019, BTS invited to Grammys, Time Magazine, Billboard. BTS entered a new era. Not an era of simply global recognition, but global dominance. April 12th, 2019, enter Map of the Soul Persona.
Hey, day after
Well,
my
I'm
First,
tired.
you
birthday.
can't
When I
mention
said
Map
no
of the Soul
competition.
Persona without mentioning Boy With Love. It was
Yeah,
simple,
that's the
man.
day after
What
my
do you
birthday.
get when
No
you
wonder I
cross
love
the
it so
singer
much. It's
of
an
one of the
Aries
best charting
album.
songs of all time that went platinum 59 times in 13
Hey, who
different
that?
countries with, without a question, the most globally dominant pop group
Word?
of all time? Well, you get this. Nothing less than an instant hit. Number 8 on Billboard Hot 100. Platinum in the US.
That shit is
21
hot.
music show wins. Number 1 on iTunes in 67 different countries. The most liked and the most viewed YouTube
these
video
dudes
in
be
the first
doing
24
numbers.
hours. The fastest video to reach 100 million views. A current view count of over 1 billion views. 7 boys, 1
And it's so
girl,
crazy
7
because it's like it's an
different
overlooked song for
They
me.
were the talk of the town, invited to talk
One of
show
the
after talk show
tier
after
songs
talk
for
show.
them.
The
I know, I
second single on
see.
the album
That's
was
crazy.
Make It Right.
I can make it right.
Written by Ed Sheeran himself, including a version featuring Loud. The album debuted at number 1 on YALL and sold 3.2 million copies its first month, and that's only in Korea. It became the best-selling album in South Korea ever. It swept every major Korean music show, winning Album of the Year in each one of them. They followed up this legendary EP with the Love Yourself, Speak Yourself World Tour, where they sold out both the Rose Bowl and the Wembley Stadium in only an hour, the only non-English speaking act to do so. They even performed as a solo act in Saudi Arabia, the first foreign act to do that. The last stop of their tour was at South Korea's largest venue, the Seoul Olympic Stadium. They ended up grossing $200 million. During this time, they also created a visual novel-style game for mobile devices called BTS World, where the player can interact with the members. This also came with an original soundtrack with tracks unique to the game featuring Western artists. Zara Larsson, Charlie XCX, and Juice WRLD for the tracks A Brand New Day,
R.I.P.
Rainbow,
Juice
and
WRLD.
All Night,
R.I.P.
respectively.
Juice
I gotta
WRLD.
listen to
In
that
December
drum.
2019, the group swept the grand prizes for both the Melon and Mnet Music Award shows, the first artist to do that. Map of the Soul persona was legendary, truly a marvel in modern music.
So, how could BTS follow up the best-selling album in South Korean history, you may ask?
Easy. Make an even better selling album. And that's what they did with Map of the Soul 7.
Bruh, that
The album was
album is
released on
God
February
tier.
21st of 2020.
Have you listened to that
featuring
joint straight through?
Swan
Man.
and On.
Wait, don't show them that.
And sold over 4.1 million albums in just the first week. And the first Korean album to be certified as quadruple million on the Gallagher chart. It debuted at number 1 on music charts all
Told
over
you,
the world,
Ty.
including the US.
Lo, you haven't
competition,
gone through that album yet,
and
Lo?
much of Europe.
Jared,
It's not an exaggeration.
Don't
to
bring
say
other
that this
niggas'
album
names
left
up when you
permanent
talking about
mark
BTS.
on
Lo.
BTS into legendary status and becoming the
Lo,
best-selling artist
you didn't go
in
through that
South
album
Korea.
yet?
BTS had
Bruh.
scheduled Map of the Soul
Well, I went to
tour
the
for
first
April
two.
of
I'm
that
on first
year,
right now.
which would have undoubtedly outsold their record-breaking tour only a year prior. But unfortunately, the COVID pandemic caused the entire tour to be postponed, including the show at the Rose Bowl, which I was supposed to attend. But that didn't stop BTS, who performed virtual concerts, spoke at the Dear Class of 2020 graduation event, and released the Japanese version of their recent album with an original Japanese single, Stay Gold.
Fuck the Stay Gold. Stay Gold.
And to top
never heard
it all
that.
off, this was
That song
only
sound
June.
lit.
At this
my
point,
shit.
it was clear that BTS had already dominated
ask
their
you,
home
Ty.
turf. And they had topped the music charts.
I'm
all
here
over the
to
world.
give my opinion
This
and
time,
react.
Their site was set.
No, you're not.
I don't have to be asked.
Remember that scene in The Social Network where Mark and Sean talk about how they don't want $1 million, they want $1 billion.
God tier scene.
How they're not interested in catching 14 trout, but they'd rather catch an 800-pound marlin.
Talk about good
Well,
dialogue.
That's what they set their sights on.
Yeah.
The marlin, the biggest music industry in the world,
Sorkin,
the
right?
United States. And at the top of that music industry, number 1 on Billboard Hot 100. This small group from a company that virtually no one had heard about 8 years ago planned to take on Goliath himself and dominate the American industry on their home turf. And all they had to do was speak English. August 21st. Enter
Dynamite.
Their first English single simultaneously performed better than anyone had expected, but at the same time is exactly what we as an audience had come to expect from the legendary boy band themselves. And they did it. They reached number 1 on the US Billboard Hot 100,
They got WAP
the
outta
Global
here.
200, and the Global Excluding US chart. And they made
Oh, yeah,
sure
they
that if
did.
you hadn't heard of them before, you definitely have now.
Hey,
and if that
hey,
wasn't
what's
already
the-
the
Who's
biggest
that- who's that
flex,
snazzy
on
guy in the
October 2nd,
front?
They came out with Savage Love BTS remix with Jason Derulo. Getting number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 again, less than
Giving
2 months
Derulo his
after
first
already
one.
getting number 1 with Dynamite.
That's his
And
first
on the
one?
Global
I think it was his
200,
first number
where they
one.
actually
Nah, Jason
replaced
Derulo.
themselves at
Jason
number 1,
Derulo got
the
some
first
songs,
artist
bro. This
to
how
do
he be
so.
afloat.
I'm a
Jason
fan.
Derulo.
I'm not a fan of him. I just know.
I'm a fan, but when me and you went over ones
So,
before,
what's
everyone don't
happened
got
since then?
ones.
Jason
Well,
Derulo, I'm pretty
not
sure he got
much.
some ones, bro.
What you say?
I had to look. I don't know none of his songs like off.
I can tell you all his highest
On
trending
November
songs is probably
28th,
what
their
you did
fifth
was doing
studio
sidebar.
album,
This
B, was released, featuring the hit single "Life Goes On."
That was a big thing for R&B where it was like
B was
Pussy
met
Got
with
You
critical
#1.
acclaim and hit #1
Oh, he
on
tried to
Billboard
play them?
200 and the World Albums
doing
Chart,
press
the
tours,
fifth
shit.
BTS album to do so, along with topping worldwide charts in countries like Belgium, Canada, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, Portugal, and of course their hometown, South Korea. And in spite of all these accolades, perhaps the biggest winner was "Life Goes On."
No, you're right.
A synth pop showstopper
pretty
encouraging
sure
its
his
audience to
highest
continue living life even in the midst of a global pandemic.
Yeah, I remember
the
it in my
message was
head,
clear.
yeah.
Don't give up, life goes on. It hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, the third
Nigga, you the
BTS
one
song
that got
to do
me to
so.
that realization.
BTS gave the
'Cause
fans
I
what
was
they
walking around
wanted.
thinking a lot of niggas had
Life Goes
number
On
ones
joined the
until me and you
exclusive
had
club
a
of
conversation and we
only
started
8 songs to
pulling
ever
up them
top the
ones.
Billboard Hot 100 that were not
he got two
English,
number
a
one
title
hits.
most recently
French got
held by
more ones than us.
Despacito. But it was the first to do it in
What you
BTS's
say?
native tongue, Korean.
2009. That's what I'm saying. He had one.
And Tiny, Intentions by Justin Bieber and Quavo. Dynamite by BTS.
The same month, the Academy announced that BTS's Dynamite would be nominated for the Best Pop
They were
Duo
cheated.
Performance.
Oh, yeah, they
along with
were.
Songs by J Balvin,
Who won?
Bieber, Lady
Fucking
Gaga,
the lady
and
was
Taylor.
Rain on
This
Me.
marked
Right?
the first
Yeah.
time a Korean pop artist.
I
was
never heard that
cheated.
song.
Grammy.
I never even
In December,
heard that
BTS
song.
was invited to sing for Disney's holiday sing-along.
That was the
And on New
Grammy.
Year's Eve, Big Hit put on a New Year's
Oh
concert
yeah,
where
they got nominated for
performed
it.
again.
Yeah.
You made it anytime you singing Christmas songs.
I was about to say yeah.
Things look
With
really
Disney.
good
It's like
for
Mariah
BTS
Moore.
and their Grammy nomination.
Right,
Since
so
it's
like-
on March 4th, 2021, the official news
drunk
date.
again.
The
She like this
International
song released
Federation
every year and go
of
number one again.
IFPI announced BTS as the Global Recording Artist of the Year, an award given to the best-selling artist of 2020, period, beating out 9 other prominent Western artists, making them the first artist from Korea, but perhaps more importantly, the first
Drake.
English artist to ever do so. Later that month, the Grammys, the main event that everyone was waiting
Terry
for.
Lewis. I mean Jimmy Jam.
Nobody takes the Grammy
Minnesota
serious.
sound,
in the
man.
world.
Huh?
That Minnesota sound.
Well, yeah.
And the Grammy goes
Let them
to
get a song from him.
Rain on Me, Lady Gaga, Ariana Grande.
Ooh.
Yo, he yanked out his earpiece, bro.
They didn't win. However, they made history. For
It's
being
cool.
the
No,
first
none of us
South
take
Korean
the
artist
Grammy serious
after presenting
anyways.
Not no more.
the year prior. March 31st, 2021, Big Hit Entertainment officially rebrands as Hybe and completely revamps their organization. BTS now falls under Big Hit Music, which is now a subsidiary of Hybe Labels, a division of the Hybe Corporation. 2 days later,
Oh,
Hybe
shit.
acquires Scooter Braun's
So all the
Mythical
other
Holdings.
labels is
Scooter
under
Braun
Hybe.
Projects is a subsidiary of Mythical Holdings. That
Wait, what
manages
labels?
artists including Ariana Grande,
bunch of other
Justin
joints.
Bieber, Carly Rae Jepsen, Black Eyed Peas.
I
Demi
could have sworn I just saw
I don't know if
them.
that something is under there.
I think that something might be big enough that they could sustain by themselves.
As BTS.
I think I
Then,
just saw
at long
somebody.
last, BTS announced
Like
their
played
highly
it's like
anticipated follow-up
17 of
single
them
to their
are
smash
under
English
there.
hit
And then I know
Dynamite.
Hybe is connected
That
with
single
Interscope.
I think I saw the
was
group names. That's
May
right.
21st,
There you go.
2021.
There you go, Senor
It
Mantequilla.
didn't disappoint. The retro summer pop hit met immediate success, and on May 26th, the BTS meal
BTS meal.
launched.
And y'all not real if y'all didn't order one.
Yo, that sauce was hitting,
That
bro.
sauce.
I don't eat
June
McDonald's.
16th, BTS releases their third Japanese compilation.
I don't give a damn how much I like these guys. I'm not eating no damn
It
McDonald's.
instantly hit #1 on Japan's Oricon chart and sold over 1 million.
You trying to think of something? No.
This is a guy I had a gas station fried chicken with last week.
The new Japanese single was released.
That's better than McDonald's.
The crunchy chicken is real though, yo.
And as an interesting fact, charted at 185 on the Billboard 200 excluding US chart, joining Dynamite and Life Goes On, making BTS the only artist to ever have 3 songs in 3 different languages on the Billboard 200. On
Got
July
to.
1st, following an organizational
Got to.
restructuring, the Hybe Corporation announced that Hitman Bang, our same Hitman Bang who got the boys together, resigned as CEO of the
Resigned.
company in order to focus on his passion for music production. And while he is still the chairman of the board of directors, he was replaced as CEO by Park Ji-won. On July 7th, BTS became official models for Louis Vuitton as they walked the runway for part of their men's fall-winter 2021 collection.
Let's
They
go.
were named as ambassadors only 2 months prior. And then, for their teaser trailer, they forgot to put V in the video. And finally, that brings us to July 9th, Permission to Dance, which was released only
Oh, this
a
is
few days
updated,
ago.
updated.
The hit song, which was written by Ed Sheeran, spreads positive vibes as the world starts to recover from
fuck
the
with
global
them.
pandemic. Its YouTube debut saw 72.3 million views in the first 24 hours, placing itself at number 6 of the top 10 most viewed music videos in the first 24 hours. Out of BTS's past 5 singles, 3 of them have been fully in English. And while this trend has been concerning for some fans who've been wanting more traditional Korean pop songs, there's no denying that BTS has enjoyed global recognition like no other international and particularly non-English group before them. That itself
hear
is a
him,
sign of success
and
that can't be ignored.
I don't
And
know.
as a fun fact,
Still,
there's a line in the song
can't
referencing
get
legendary
into it.
singer-songwriter Elton John.
Really enjoy the song now. Well, I think Elton fuck with it. Yeah.
So what makes BTS so special? How did they achieve all this? K-pop is a genre that spans for at least 30 years, and there have been hundreds of boy groups and hundreds of girl groups. What did BTS do to rise above all of them and break through to markets never before seen?
Historically, the boy band industry has been dominated by white English-speaking bands. And the fact that BTS has not only held their own, but blew any sign of competition out of the water on a global scale can be attributed to nothing less than their talent, hard work, and a bit of a 1 in a million miracle. They did it through their own blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak.
Around the world, we see that
I see
boy
what he
bands
did.
have pretty much fallen into obscurity, but BTS is thriving. And though I've stated this all before, it's worth saying again, in contrast to other bands who would sing about romantic relationships with girls and what some would call predictable bubblegum pop tunes, BTS is continuously pushing the envelope and changing their styles. According to an article by Vulture.com, they describe this style as much less a successor of the Backstreet Boys and more of the successors of Michael Jackson, whose choreography and charisma were unprecedented. While of course there's a lot of love for the angelic vocals of BTS, rap has also played a very important part in creating their own style.
A singularity.
In contrast to the typical boy band where every member sings, it's so refreshing when you're in the middle of a song and you hear RM's raw rapping skills, J-Hope's energy, or Suga's soul put into every single line. Interestingly enough, at the first glance, it seems that the success of BTS was miraculous, despite not being part of the Big Three. But it can also be argued that their success was because of their separation from the Big Three. Their label, Big Hit Entertainment, whose founder emphasized artistic freedom more than anything else, allowed them to make their own sound. And going back to BTS Universe, it's not often that a K-pop group does something special with each of their songs and albums, utilizing strong storytelling that can go beyond simply the song itself, but rather interconnected with other songs and even other albums to create one large overarching story. And not only do they all have their own expertise in performance, but also each of them have had the experience of writing and producing their own music, and they're not afraid to let their style evolve over time. BTS during their debut is such a far cry from Wings era BTS and current day BTS. They also chose to tackle more adult issues instead of simply love and girls. While they definitely didn't have a shortage of those, they also cover other very important issues such as mental health, regret, following your dreams, hard work, self-love, and many, many, many others. Add that to the fact that as fans, we can feel the authenticity of the members themselves. They seem approachable. BTS seems like there's a place for every type of fan. And in this fast-paced world where things change at unthinkable speeds, BTS has stayed grounded and faithful to who they were and who they are. Those kids we saw on American Hustle Life, along with their dreams and passions, are the same men who stand before us today. And while some artists like to keep their personal lives private, BTS gives us a look at their personal lives through their vlogs, which allows us to become more connected to them than ever before.
What is truly amazing is that they're doing this all while singing in their native tongue, Korean. Their music holds so much power that it literally breaks through the barriers of language. And no, they're not done yet. They've shown that they're capable of dominating music charts across the world and even reaching across the Pacific Ocean and conquering the music industry in the United States. What's next for them? Mars? In any case, they've only started in 2013 and BTS is as strong as it's ever been.
And that's our 2021 update. There's been lots of exciting news for the group so far, and I'm gonna guess that 2021 will still have a lot of surprises waiting for us. Thank you to everyone who watched the original video. We've changed some of the information to make it more accurate or easier to understand. We're always looking to improve our videos, so if you find something that needs improving, leave a comment below. A big shout out to our almost 160,000 subscribers. You guys are amazing. And remember, to break your plans, live like you're golden, and roll in like you're dancing fools. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Not even halfway.
Helps for editing purposes too. We can chunk it. Our first guide, yo. How was that for you?
Well, So that put
Informational. I don't know what the word is.
Informational.
Informational.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Informational. Yeah.
Very informational. I think it's not the, I ain't gonna say heartstrings thing I was looking for, but it ain't that pulled me like some of the songs did yet. But I'm pretty sure that's gonna be watching vlogs and shit as opposed to watching a guy just giving information about them. But I will say, like, I'll just go off my notes first, man. I guess time. Okay. But it's just like, damn, man, this is, you know how you watch a movie, a biopic, and it's like, the star, you see them come from nothing, and then they rise and it becomes something, and then they do this, and oh my God, this thing worked that we didn't expect to work, and blah, 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 but then cocaine, heroin, or some shit like that come out of the blue, and then it all falls apart, and the redemption arc of this thing, like all of that, you know what I'm saying?
It's like waiting for
it's like every
lawsuit
other
scandal. Someone left the group.
Someone had a baby. Someone shot somebody. Cocaine is always there.
They don't seem like they're problematic. They seem like they're gonna be around for a while.
Yeah, they seem like how this thing can only keep growing until they're like.
Yeah, they just got here to the western side.
Bro, look at this shit. They went on a world tour as teenagers, only from selling only 200,000 albums in Korea. That supports the world. You know, you can't pre-streaming and definitely like 90s to 2000s. Do you know if you sold under gold, there was no way you couldn't even fill certain places in the United States.
Yep.
200,000. That's 200,000 in the United States.
If you sold gold, you were a failure.
Bro, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, if your ass ain't go gold, the fuck?
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like, oh, okay. Remember that nigga with the song? Like, that's it. That's who.
And the crazy thing is, we have conversations like that all the time. Like, remember the boy that had the song?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You get
like,
yesterday when Rome came on.
Bro.
Yo, remember Get Him to the Greek when he was like Chocolate Daddy? He was like, yeah. He's like, what did he say? He only sold like 2,500 albums. He was like, yeah, but I love every single album. And he just kind of just dismissed him and like played him right off the panel.
Yeah.
Like,
That's really how it was. So the fact that, like I said, they coming from Korea and they went on a world tour that supported it. Obviously, the internet and social media plays a big factor. And I know a lot of older artists just like, fuck, if I had a social presence. But you know, that's not how the dice roll for y'all. So,
even though that same mentality, people have a social presence today and still don't do shit with it.
Yeah, well, because some people, a lot of people also, there's more to their story, which I'm gonna elaborate on. With the song like I Need You, you know what I'm saying, like, as a total change in tone and everything like that. They went from the angsty bad boys that we love on, or that I love on No More Dream and everything like that, to kind of a definitely softer, more traditional boy band tone. But they didn't even stop there. Not to mention times changed as well in music, in our music over here in America. Like I said in one of the videos, I think what we do was that Date You Time, where I was talking about how they're able to kind of, I could be a hardcore rapper and just do this or whatever like that.
oh yeah, with
dress up,
a name change or
dress however I want and just be whatever the fuck I want and express myself like this.
Period.
That's something that's only came about in like the last 7 years, if that. Like, you got maybe 1 year somebody's pushing shit. Look at Young Thug. He comes out with Hookah and all them songs, 2014. I'm like, man, this nigga ain't about to be around. This nigga
love that shit.
He
too.
wearing
What a
nail
legend.
polish and
dresses and shit.
dresses and calling niggas his babies and calling guns dicks and shit like that. I'm like, there's no way he's gonna last, bro. I stand corrected because now I fuck with Thug. You know what I'm saying? He started doing songs. He did songs with Nipsey Hussle, Drake, and then
He a legend.
You start
Underrated.
music.
He was one of them boys. I was on the wave early. I was like, "Boy, this shit legendary to me."
I couldn't stand his voice, but then like I said, when I heard him do the song with Nipsey on Slaughter Boy 2, that's when I was like, oh nah.
No,
That's
that
like
boy, he a problem.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but
Shit,
think about how
checking all that shit. I was just like, "Oh, this shit
I'm
different."
not even gonna use a phobic term with it, but just think about how resistant hip hop is to change.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With certain things, we like growth is cool because it's always gonna happen, but change in the bones of hip hop or like how we do, we very resistant to that shit.
People hate Lil Nas X.
Huh?
I said people hate Lil Nas X.
Well, he's a troll.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that, that situation alone because it's
not black and white with him.
Yeah.
He's very much a troll. So there's that.
Respect it.
But
You don't feel like it?
Huh?
Nah, never mind. We're not touching.
No, I
that.
said I respect
yeah,
it.
this is about Bangtan. So, but just moving along to my next note.
Oh yeah, before you got off that note too, like that is why I love them, and that was the whole big discussion we was having before about the angst and everything.
Yeah.
Just some artists do not want to move with the times or develop and evolve.
Yo, like that's the point I was gonna make. In the music industry, it's evolve or evaporate. So you know what I mean. You gotta. That's why, like you said, social media helps so much because it's like you gotta figure out what's trending. You gotta figure out what people like, what the majority likes, and make music based off that. You know what I mean? Make music based off. Like, remember what span was it where everybody had like trap music? Everybody was making trap music.
Still now.
Still now.
But
I know the Jeezy run.
Definitely, I know what you talking about, like the later trap, not
like 2014, 2015, 16.
2012 when drill really popped, because drill and trap are kind of different.
Well, yeah, I was about to say what you mean, because drill is different to me than trap is.
Yeah, from like 2012 to like 2018, it was almost like
everybody had that trap type of beat in their music. Like everybody was going
similar flows, similar, and it gets exhausting after a while. But
the Migos came in.
And that's also how they're able to penetrate over here too, because when something gets stagnant, something will come in and take over that, and now you have, and it's not a problem because like I like the music. It'd be one thing if like the shit was trash, and I'm just like, bro, we didn't let somebody else come over here and take over our shit or whatever like that. And niggas only get, not even niggas, just people only get like that when they don't have a leg to stand on and they just resistant to change or whatever like that.
But not to cut you off too, just to before I forget, that was my biggest problem with K-pop before was that I jumped in on the second generation, so like with Rain, J. Chow, and like all these other people, and not them in particular, but a lot of the artists. So like, let's say Usher dropped or Oh My God or something here. The sound I was hearing over there was literally a carbon copy of like an Usher track. So it was never nothing resonating with me. I was like, I heard that track over here
stand out.
And me, I thought that's how I felt about anything too, because shit, I'd only listen to like a few reggaeton songs, like Wisin and Yandel,
Wisin and Yandel,
like
yeah.
It could only be some like the song really would have to be a banger. Like you know the song MySpace.
Or Rakata or something.
That's my
like
shit. But that sounds different from like almost every other reggaeton song.
Right.
It's a total different genre. So if you're gonna do something like that, or it's just talking about like foreign music, if you're gonna kind of like make rap or make whatever, you gotta kind of make sure it's not repetitive or definitely not carbon copies. So that's why, remember the genre I played for y'all, the Dynamic Duo song AIO AIO. I'm playing 2K, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this song that's playing? I'm like, this sound like niggas rapping, but this ain't niggas. Like, this gotta be French or some shit. And then I know I hear DJ Premier, you know them cuts when you hear them. I'm like, wait a minute. And then they start singing, but then they rapping too. I'm like, wait a minute, bro. Like, that shit is crazy. So
that was them?
That was them. No, that wasn't BTS.
Nah, it wasn't BTS.
No, yo, you funny as shit, bro. But it's a group called Dynamic Duo, and they did it or whatever like that. But yeah, man. So just not to like take up time because I know niggas gotta leave. But yeah, like I said, hearing that was something totally different. So that's why I'm like, oh shit, this is kind of cool. But I've always been somebody who's willing to listen to something, but that shit gotta be hot.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so when I heard that, and it just was like almost carbon copy, and that's no disrespect to any artist over there, but it just nothing was really appealing. With BTS, I love pop music, so like I kind of love like some of the bubblegum gimmicky, like the bubblegum gimmicky kind of like music and the like radio play music. But that shit is layers with them. That shit is just be like, nah, you can get a rap line, you can get a Macy's song, you can get something about depression. They can turn up and talk about having fun here. It's just like you get so many different flavors.
Goofy. They can be whoever they want to be, and which is them being themselves, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, the versatility in their music.
Language barrier is decent too. I think that's why I might like it too.
Yeah. I think that language barrier adds a layer of I want to hear more, and I'm gonna, because like now I'm actually starting to like learn some Korean. and been trying to like, all right, now how do I do this? Cause some shit I want to just know what they saying.
Yeah, trying to start a K-pop group. I get it.
Yo, Jerry, I was about to ask you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It's cool. We just need a name. We just
Yo.
need a name.
We'll get there. You know what I'm saying? But no, like for real, like I'm
Just need one singer, one dancer.
For real,
And then me and you just rap.
I'm gonna start taking lessons, bro. You produce, sing.
We might start singing. First American K-pop group.
How many members y'all need?
That's already a thing.
Listen, man.
Who?
Some boys moved from over here to move over there, and it happened. Right.
But they moved though. We gonna stay here.
Fuck
like
them niggas, sus.
We gonna start off.
Worse than you don't even want to move over there, but you want to call it K-pop music.
In his defense, they over there, they got rap groups.
That's what I'm saying. Like we trying to do it over here.
That shit wild, Joe. A K-pop group, and you stayed here. You'll have no affiliation. With
Nah, we gonna go. Nah, the goal is to start here and let them invite us. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to go over there.
Crib uninvited.
Right? They're gonna be like,
Put
why?
your feet on their couch and
Right?
all that.
Like I want to get
Go
invited.
over there to jump to the top,
That would be
LeBron.
the biggest.
Get the
That
fuck
would be
out
the
of
biggest cultural appropriate. Well, I don't even think of culture. I don't even know what the word that is.
Be careful with that line, nigga.
Yeah. Nah, but imagine if y'all was like, if you learn Korean just to rap it, and was trying to get a buzz over there.
The thing with them, I still, because at first I was like, when I watched No More Dream, y'all know how hype I've been over there since I watched
Like
it.
that,
And
John.
y'all was like, they changed, everything like that. Now, like I said, I don't have a problem with somebody growing and evolving and everything like that. Change, you just jumping in a different lane and just saying, fuck this shit, it's totally different. They still rap. And it's not like...
Well, I didn't say they changed.
No.
Yeah, my words was the angst definitely stops at a...
But I'm not an angsty nigga. If it sounds good...
And that's why during that, I was like, I don't think y'all were saying the same thing. And I think you voted, you're like, I'm not saying the same thing.
Yeah, I said if it sounds good, I'm cool with it. But because remember, like I said, the sound like Club Paradise, so that's different. But I just
think No More Dreams is just a good track.
I think with hip hop, I don't think there's a problem with them changing from like first of all, because they still have raps, but it'd be different if they was American rappers. And I know I talked about this kind of like ironic. If you from the hood and you start like doing what they did, I do think it's a totally different thing because I don't think.
I think it depends.
It depends on who you are and if the musicality of it. If you just go,
It has to be good.
If you just change because the wave changing, I think that's corny. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if
then that's
you are the wave, they a fucking tsunami. Like
a perfect example would be Lil Uzi Vert. Like he was really a rapper. You know what I'm saying? And he kind of grew into his own pop stardom.
He's a rock star.
Yeah, he grew into that, and that's what's crazy. That's why I would like relate it to.
Shit he abandoned. Like
it's kind of like. I wouldn't say abandoned, but he grew into.
It turned into the vision. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, he grew into something that I don't think he'd ever.
Just rap some shit. And
I don't think he ever saw himself even getting there. You know what I'm saying?
But I also think that's a product of you honing your own audience now in America. You don't need no fucking record label to tell you what's hot in the streets. Nigga, you know what's hot in the streets. Your fans will tell you what's hot. Or not even what's hot in the streets, what we're going to accept from you or what we trying to hear. It's kind of no holds barred now where you can do anything, but if it's not good, it's not good.
Yeah.
And some shit is was trendier to wave. Like, I am the fucking wave. Like, that shit is... This shit is about to be what's trending.
They repeated. That was another of my notes. Like, they keep making the wave for them, but it's like no one can follow their wave.
Did I miss the? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did I miss the mixing of genre conversation?
Not really. We kind of in it right now.
Okay, cool.
Like they're. But the thing is, what I like with the current status of idol music and just K music, period. I feel like no one's trying to copy them.
No.
Everyone's doing their
own thing,
which is in stark contrast to what you said about the second generation, where it was just like kind of carbon copies of
cookie cutter. It was everything that was happening over here, and that's
everybody over there.
If anything, I think BTS, at least from the K, like other idols and fans, have been catching more flack in the last year as far as people just. I think you mentioned it before, Jared, where you just was like you wanted them to get back to more traditional K songs. And then people over there have been basically going back and forth like, yo, Dynamite, Butter, and Permission to Dance, that's not a K-pop song. That's just an American pop song. That's not a
that
K-pop.
American artists wish they had.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And it's just me. I think niggas is just haters. Like, BTS has already stated, like, we're not a K-pop group. We're just music. Like, we're bigger than life.
We surpassed that.
We surpassed all that.
But it's like one of the conversations we had earlier. What genre do we put BTS in? And you really can't.
They are a genre.
They really are what they are.
Hashtag
genre. And you know what, Army? Y'all been saying this, the non-toxic ones. Y'all been saying
this. Because some of y'all toxic.
They are their own genre, and I'm definitely putting their respect.
I can respect that.
They are very much their own genre. And whatever they drop, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, if it's hot, it's hot. If it's not, it's not. That's
I mean, we've kind of seen that in America a little bit too. Like before Drake.
Michael Jackson.
Well, him, yes, but I was thinking more so like Don Omar. I was like really heavy into my reggaeton, and like Don Omar was like the first guy to put out an album where you would get like straight raw rap on one track.
Or he was in his feelings.
Right, and then he would be in his feelings the next song.
What? Me and him go on genre?
With certain people, just like some of them Jones didn't hit. You know what I mean?
What you mean?
The like us kind of giving artists passes
for
music and everything, and that was the Eminem thing too. When it told us like, bro, if your album ain't smack in 4 or 5 albums, and people just keeping that shit alive off your name, then
and we're not even gonna get on that. I very much agree with you that a lot of people can't let that shit go. I'm like, bro, it's not 2002 anymore, and it's just not the same thing.
No, it's not.
People be afraid to grow with the music and
everything.
But as far as people hating, you know, on Bangtan over there in SK, I mean,
them niggas, man.
the greatest person to ever rap lyrics said, "Niggas see me in the street, want to be friendly, but I know any type of success breeds envy."
Biggie never said that. Anyway, so
you thought that was gonna be a joke?
Kurt somewhere like,
Hey, no. Shout out to my guy Kurt. He lost his dog, so
that's why he's not here.
Shout out to Kurt.
You did not do that, yo.
I'm sorry.
Yo,
rest up.
Let's do that right. 1, 2. Let's send the big boy I hate a Kurt. What I had.
What they said.
Well, yeah.
I don't want to mess up the. I don't want to mess up the pronunciation. I don't want to mess.
Nigga, bo, ra, hey.
What he said. All right, cool.
Yeah. Dumb motherfucker. No, please.
Hey.
Are you done with your notes?
Yeah, y'all go ahead. That's all. We all just talking now.
That was awesome. I love, y'all know I like angsty BTS. So I'm really into their early stuff. And I was more fascinated in seeing how they were put together.
Yeah.
Because it just like the way they came together is so hip hop. Like I could just respect the way, you know, like none of them they were all different. Some of them were picked from the street, you know what I'm saying? And they came together for one common goal, which was they love to perform. You know, they might have not all known each other, but they still were able to create a collective. And I think that's how most hip hop groups are assembled. Like, I know you, but
I would say yes and no. I'm gonna cut you off, but there were some people who had no desire to sing, no desire to dance. Like Jen, walking down the street, I just happened to be good looking.
That gotta be the coolest shit of all time.
Yeah.
Bro.
And not once, but twice.
The two biggest companies approach
That's
me,
crazy.
and I'm just out here looking good.
That's the biggest flex of all time.
But the way the culture is, everybody wants to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll buy in if it makes me successful.
Yeah, I respect that so much.
And that's why Cookie was about to leave too. They said he was like, "Nah, I'm going." But they was like, "Nah, why you about to leave, bro?" That's crazy. And they was like crying and shit because he's about to leave. That's some real
and the fact that like RM like went and talked to him and try to, you know, get this together, like that is I respect that, because before, I guess, second generation, like when I was to see K-pop 10 years ago, before I ever knew what BTS was, it didn't feel authentic. It didn't feel like any of them wanted to. Yeah, it looked like none of them really wanted to do that. It looked like they were just.
It looked like this is something that a record label put together to come back.
Make money.
As opposed to these guys.
I'm not saying. Well, let me rephrase that. I can see how like someone could look at the music and feel that way, but as much as I absorbed it, watching it in my household and seeing things.
Oh no, we're completely speaking out of ignorance. We're completely speaking out of ignorance.
I'm new to this world.
And obviously, we didn't see and really indulge in music like how we are. I'm gonna tell you right now, me in high school, the shit I was listening to and the shit that I would only listen to, even with me seeing myself as eclectic, and like I said, it wasn't until I turned like maybe 21 where I was like, okay, I don't give a fuck what it is. If it sounds good to me, I will listen to it from any genre outside of metal. And
but see, but that was
metal. I mean,
that was the thing that I had. My father, black guy, dark as your shirt. But no, seriously, he would listen to like him and his brother. They were like hard rock fans, Aerosmith, Metallica, those type of things. So hanging out with him, he liked to crank it loud in his car and shit like that. That's embarrassing for me. I came from an R&B and rap household. I don't want my friends, when you pull up, you got your Metallica going and everybody's like, yo, who the fuck is the weirdo? Like, that is so embarrassing. It wasn't until I got older, like, you know what, man? The beat is good. I love the music. Like, and little did, and when I learned what rock really was really our music. Right. Different conversation. I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. But see, I was weird as shit growing up, though. Especially, like 4th, 5th grade and shit like that. Mm-hmm. My grandmom, I live with my grandmom. I live with an Asian woman. Yeah. So it just was
Nick is Filipino, if y'all ain't know.
No, somebody knew. They looked at him and they instantly knew.
After I said it.
The Asian lady down the bottom on 39th Street in Brown. Yeah. Like fucking, so, you know, I mean, like, I'm sitting there watching anime and kung fu flicks and shit and reading comics like on the step and rumbling niggas every other day and shit. For real. So, you know, I
sounds
guess
like a great sitcom.
Right. So I guess I'm kind of used to like all like this kind of stuff. So that's why I get some of like the shit that's going on.
You know, it's funny that you bring that up. Like how, like I said, how people just look and be like, "What the fuck you listening to?" Because you know how we go back and we have our moments where we listen to all our shit
and revisits
them Sum 41. All of that kind of shit. Blink 182.
Blink 182. Papa Roach.
I heard that.
Good Charlotte.
You know what I'm saying? Like we'll go and listen to all that because
Papa Roach.
Papa Roach, bro.
Definitely.
Last Resort.
I grew up as a military brat for a few years before I moved to Philly, right?
Okay.
So
you got a different taste
of
everything.
As a country boy, all I know is like the big rap at the time, which is like No Limit, Tupac just died, Biggie had just died, all the Bone Thugs, all that shit like that. I moved with my mom. I'm in
listen
the
to that David Banner.
Kids, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. I'm like, this was hot. I'm like, these white boys, this is hot. But then I started listening to the song, like, yo, this shit is.
Yo, listen. I mean, growing up in my household, there was no discrimination of music, like especially because my dad is a musician. Mm-hmm. So I was waking up to Earth, Wind and Fire and Stevie Wonder, and this is when I'm in my teens. You know what I mean? So when I have those artists playing in my playlist, they like, what you know about this? I'm like, listen, this is music, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? So I would never shy away from, you know, hearing different music and, you know what I mean, different artists and stuff like that. So when I first started hearing about K-pop and everything, I was like, yo, what's K-pop? And then, you know, listening to you and Shy and everybody talk about it, I'm like, all right, well, let's see what this is. And then I came on here and started hearing the music. I'm like, oh, this slap.
Yeah, I think for me, like what drew me to K-pop was I grew up like pretty much working at a corner store, a poppy store. So I was always looking at rap battles, or everybody had a rap DVD or something like that. And then at the crib, we was listening to some bachata and reggaeton. But I was also doing like dance groups. So we would dance to like ballet music or salsa, hip hop, all this type of stuff. What drew me to K-pop was the fact that I always loved rapping, I always did dancing, I always did theater, like the theatrics, and I dabbled with film. I feel like K-pop has all of that put together and it's done so well. Right. The dancing it's not like they choose which one is gonna be best, right? Like they're not gonna just be like, we're gonna go all out for the rapping and then the singing is gonna be okay. We're gonna go all out for the video, but the dancing is gonna be okay. Everything is on point. Everything is like, we're gonna give it our all in every single lane, and that to me is my favorite part. The fact that, like you said, Jin, or I think it was who was it that had to learn from scratch how to sing and dance? It was Jin. Yeah, like that's the fact that he was able to do that and be good at it is like mind blowing. Like they literally picked him off the street and was like, "Yo, we're gonna train you, do this." That's stuff that's stuff that I wish would happen over here, but people I feel like people are afraid. People are afraid to like step out that box.
Bro, I wish I went to Kappa and had followed up with certain shit that I wanted to do and learning how to sing. I'm not in religious anymore. I left the church, but I wish I had took advantage of that shit when I was younger. Because
I feel like what sucks over here is that there be so much going on that like we can only focus on like one thing. Like it's like you can't do basketball and music at the same time. You can't do music and then dancing at the same time.
Especially not thinking if you going to excel in one or make it.
Yeah, it's like at some point it sucks because people have to make a decision on like what is it that you feel like you can be great at and focus on that.
That's the thing too. And because I went to Overbrook, I was supposed to go to Kappa. I missed my appointment. That's a whole other story too.
Yeah, they ain't set me.
I went to Overbrook for art, and it wasn't a bad. In comparison, they're about equal. Musically, Kappa was definitely better, but for as far as fine arts, they're about equal. But there were so many people that were artistically talented that had to choose between artistic and real world. And most people couldn't make that balance. They couldn't find that happy medium. They were either getting caught up in whatever was going on in the street, playing a sport, doing whatever that they felt like they needed to get done in order to be successful in a real world. And then there were people who were like, look, man, I'm going to try to ride this art thing. Knowing that it really had no outlet. Like, how many people actually like, yo, I'm going to make comics when no, that wasn't a thing. Like, yeah, I'm going to make a art gallery. No. Like, I mean, like the numbers of people who were in it was almost like somebody joining a power league, jumping to the NBA. It was just, I'm just here to have fun while I'm here, but I want to be good at it. But me being good at it is going to take away from experiences in the real world.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to like how we consume things versus how they consume things over there. Like in America, we don't really appreciate the stuff artists do we do because we are artists ourselves, but
in general, as a country,
it's kind of like, oh, they dropped a really cool music video, that's nice, as opposed to when they drop something, they can appreciate every single aspect from it, like even if it is like a bad song from the group or something like that, people still show love because you can see because they're working hard. It's like here, like groups, singers, or even musicians, or any kind of artist, no matter on what field, film, music, rap, whatever it is, people don't think you work hard for some reason. They just think you do things.
I think
they look at the result and judge your work.
They don't see the hard work that's being put out to that.
The reason I'll say that's a two-sided thing is because not only do people, the reason. Call you back later, girl. That's Moon. The reason people tend to take things for granted over here in America like that is because there is a lot of times where the industry is like, let's put this out and see, let's put some bullshit out and see if people will still spend money on it.
People respond to it.
And people spend money on bullshit. People get caught up in bullshit. And so the artist will see, I don't have to work this hard. I can just put a little teaser song out there. There's literally nothing. If you got a great social presence, there's literally nothing you can do musically to jeopardize your brand. The only stuff that jeopardizes your brand, you tweeting out some shit, you doing some shit, you going to jail, or you fucking money up, or just your image being broken. Music,
and sometimes that doesn't stop the money from coming back.
And I've had talented homies meet with executives from Sony and other places and literally not get a deal because the social media presence wasn't there.
Yeah.
They'd be like, literally, we would have signed you, bro, but you don't have 2 million followers. If you'd have had this amount of followers or you'd been doing ABC, you'd have got signed. But since you don't, you gotta grind or you gotta do this to
follow.
But that's so lazy on the rec.
There's no A&Rs anymore, bro.
That's crazy because it's like, okay, but if y'all sign me, I'll get that.
Right.
It'll
give me the notoriety.
Give me a money, Joe. I'll take a picture. Give me a money phone. I'll take a picture.
Like you said, no artist development.
Shout out to SM because I believe they started the whole trainee system.
Yeah.
They don't do that here anymore. Like
So,
artist development.
Back to what you were saying.
You got to
bro,
kind of
with the
seek that
whole-
on your own.
Well, really back to what both y'all was saying with the whole like trying not to be in the streets and trying not to get. It's the same thing with these artists over there. It costs them almost $100,000 a year per trainee at these companies, which means like we gotta feed you, we gotta pick you up from school, we gotta get you a tutor, we gotta get you dance practices, we gotta get your vocal lessons, get your teeth straight.
You
we
probably
gotta
live
clean
in a
up
company
everything.
house.
Like you gotta live on dorms, and you just
And that's one of the things that really drew my attention. I don't know what was his name, the guy who assembled them, but I want to know more about him because he seems like he was real big.
Hitman.
Yeah.
He was real big on letting them find their own like voice in a way, and I like that because it goes back to how serious they take the music and the art over there,
get the talent,
as opposed to like just being like, all right, we're gonna put y'all together, we're gonna get y'all some producers, and that's it, boom. Because that's what happens. Like
but
here,
that's kind of what I was trying to touch on when we watched No More Dream, and I'm like, is this really authentic to them, or is this just something that the record label put together, and we're gonna push it out to the world?
Yeah,
people on the Patreon said that it's authentic.
I think
RM really raps. So does Sugar.
Not only that, RM
was like writing all of that.
And Sugar, what they had said was they were coming from two very dark places. He was very angry at the time. This is RM. He said I was very angry at the time, and that's why I went with Rap Monster, and I was all aggressive. His every rap, yo, my nigga, go make money. Like it's all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that initially. And then it starts to calm down a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I want a big house, big cars, and
Nah, Sugar ripped that shit, bro. Listen, y'all, I'm gonna have No More Dream down packed in Korean by next week. I'm gonna do it for you.
But that's them two in the group. But everybody else, that I might not speak for. But
remember,
that was my thing. Like
Jimin wasn't happy either. You even brought that up. He said he wasn't.
No,
happy.
he wasn't happy with it. Was weight, but that's like their first track. So I don't even know if we're that far in yet for that to even be a thing. Jin didn't sing or dance or anything. So what the hell? What's his voice in the situation?
Well, that's my thing because I think the rap line is covered.
Right, the rap line does their thing. It's just everybody else's voice. Where does that filter in?
But that song is just
I get where you about to go with it.
What the song is about is kind of it feels authentic to where they at. Because remember, and then they went a few. Don't get me started, bro. Then they went to the next few songs. Remember, we saw the joint up there where they was talking about the Korean school system and everything that. So that's some real shit. You like who else can do something like that? There's not one artist in American in Western music right now that can make a club song, can make a street, if you will, or banger type song, and make something of substance talking about everyone's life. Like something that affects the average person.
Some fan base is probably punching their table. They're like, don't you dare say Kendrick couldn't, or don't you ever talk about J. Cole, or
Lil Baby could definitely do that.
Lil Baby, or don't you? I agree with you. I get what you're saying.
I love Baby. I love Kendrick. I love Cole. Kendrick, I don't think Kendrick has an interest in the club. So there's that. Yeah. J. Cole,
neither one of them.
J. Cole never been a club ball.
So
he never had a club type hit. Baby, I like what he did with the social justice John. I think it will be coming from. I think how he executed it would still be kind of Lil Baby. It wouldn't be like no new growth. I'm like, yo, this nigga took it to the next level. That's not slighting him. If he does do it, I want to see it. Shit, Baby, my guy. But I'm just saying, like on the level of,
I think artists can do it. It's just I don't think that's a thing that's gonna. I get what you mean. I don't think it's gonna be a thing.
I haven't seen it yet. I would like I said, I would like to see it. So I don't want to limit anybody, but.
I love like how they were like brought up. I think they're like a great blueprint of how musicians should be moving forward in the future. I think they're a great example of how music is done in this generation. It's cool that you can sing, it's cool that you can rap and dance, but can you evolve and set a trend? Not only set a trend, but can you be like 2-3 years ahead of the game? Because I feel like that's what they are with like songs like Dynamite, Butter. It's like songs that 2 years from now we probably still gonna be hearing that song on the radio. You know what I'm saying?
It's on commercials.
And they're not afraid. They're not afraid to be like, you know what, this not working no more. We gotta do something new. You know what I'm saying? And to
He
me,
drop albums nonstop or project and music nonstop. Like,
and it's not even just music. Is videos, like they said, like they do like their blogs and everything.
The what is it called? The universe, the BTS universe. That's all of that stuff goes into building like not only like a cult fan base, but like a overall narrative that makes people want to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the best part of like watching artists come up is seeing the whole narrative come together. Like when you first discover an artist and then you see where they get at, and it makes you feel like you kind of know them or like you're a part of. It's like you're a part of it. And with them, it makes you feel like after watching all of that, it's kind of like it feels like they haven't even really gotten started over here.
That's why I can't really wait to start watching like BTS run. So like I love Chris Brown outside of everything because like he can like paint and like, you know, he's an artist and he can dance and do all this other type stuff. When we get into the BTS run stuff, y'all be surprised to see them like just be in a room and they'll start picking up instruments and start playing, and then they'll be like, oh no, I did this for 3 years of piano and this. Or when they have like DJ equipment out and stuff, you'll see them go over, start producing stuff. And they're like, yeah, we produce our own stuff, we write, we play instruments, we do all this stuff. You just like, damn, y'all music is organic. I can literally just sit y'all in a room and y'all can do an album by yourself. It ain't too many, you know.
We've had very few people who could do that.
It ain't too many Princes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And I think, and because I hold Prince as probably the greatest musician of all time because he played about 10 instruments. He literally composed and played every single instrument of all his music. Like he played it before. Like you see him in the Revolution, them niggas back there playing guitars. He played that shit before and gave it to them. You know what I'm saying? So I hold him as the greatest or whatever like that. But to see somebody be able to do a little bit of that, and to do, you know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. And who was that with the saxophone? Was that Jen or V?
V.
Can y'all
gotta make that.
Can y'all make a song with the saxophone? A love song with the saxophone?
I got a request of things we need BTS to do. Like I want to hear BTS with Lil Uzi and Future. I want to see.
This sound like a wild track.
That John go
like
crazy.
I'm taking an edible and listening to that.
Imagine that. Yeah. I'm really curious to hear. We gotta react to BTS and what's his name? Designer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We gotta see that. I'm interested. And Juice WRLD, did not know they did that with Juice WRLD. I think they are on pace. I think BTS is on pace to probably be one of the greatest musical groups of all time.
It's 8 years in, and look, they're already the.
I think I'm probably very biased. They kind of already in my upper echelon.
I feel like
musicians already, and
it's just you speaking that UN thing, and I'm not even like. Well, I guess UN is not politics. It is, but it ain't. But I'm not like a fan of like how government is and everything like that. But if you're speaking there, you're somebody. Right. You know what I'm saying? You is somebody important.
Say the youngest members ever in South Korea to go get like the
they got the presidential awards and shit.
Yo, they are literally helping their economy, like that overall country's economy. Like that's
affecting the GDP. Like
like they have impact. Like
they got to.
Not only there, but like they're doing world tours all. That's what's crazy. It's like they're doing stuff in Mexico, United States, Saudi Arabia. It's like you'd never expect people to. You'd never expect a group from Korea to dominate in all these different markets. It's not just one market. It's like we're so good that we're gonna drop that same album in Japanese and it's still gonna be hot. Like,
bro, if we keeping it funky, like. So I know we live in an era of like what's the safe words I want to use?
You got egg rolls?
Go ahead, be problematic.
I know
egg rolls? You got egg rolls? Oh,
I wish.
I didn't even know you ordered. I was about to say.
I know we live in the era of I'm really
PC
trying to
culture.
think of the right way to like
PC
phrase
culture?
this and stuff. Not even so much just PC. Everyone needs to feel integrated in something.
Inclusive.
Oh my God,
like
yes.
inclusion.
Yeah.
So like, you know how like you'll be watching a commercial and you'll see like a couple and they have to be interracial or maybe just gay for everyone to feel like in the mix of things and stuff. BTS seem to be on every fucking thing. Like, whether it's McDonald's shit, whether it's like kind of like the Samsung shit. Some of that shit throw me off. I'm just used to maybe the Taylor Swifts and like the Justin Biebers of the world kind of doing things like of that particular nature. That shit almost threw me. I thought my shit was playing on YouTube when commercials was on, when Dynamite first dropped. And I'm just like, fuck is... Like, you know what I mean?
Bro, a few weeks ago, I'm at YALL pumping my gas. I hear Butter come on. I'm like, damn, I left the car on? I'm like, wait a minute. I turn around and it's on the
It's on the screen, yeah. That happened to me too. I'm like, oh, snap, they out here.
I'm pumping gas. I'm like, oh, shit.
They on the YALL gas station.
Watching this kind of goes back to what I always say about when we do like the B-sides and stuff like that. This just is a deeper level, in my opinion, of like doing a B-side and stuff like that and really getting to know the artist and their backgrounds and stuff like that. Like you were saying, the guy that put them together, helped put them together, I would want to see more of his story too.
He said he went back to making music, like just follow. Yeah. Like, bro, look, I didn't Vini Vidi Vici. I want to go back to just making music now.
I done put the team together. Now I'm about to go make music.
He literally assembled the Avengers.
Yeah, right. Facts. Like, but nah, this is very informative. I'm sorry, and then it's just dope to like see their story, and I'm sure this ain't even a half, but. You know, for them to do what they did in that span of 8 years,
yeah, and they have the fact that they're so versatile and they're good at like anything. That's why I could be like, yeah, put them on a song with like, I don't know, Kodak or somebody random like Lil Dicky. Like they'll kill any single.
If they get on a motherfucking song with Future, bro, I don't know what I'm gonna like.
It's amazing. I feel like that's what every artist wishes they can accomplish. Get to a point where anybody, any creative wants to work with you, no matter if it's a writer, a filmmaker, a rapper, singer, actor, dancer. Anybody will be glad to work with BTS, and that takes a lot of hard work to get to a point where like anybody wants to work with you. Like
that shit crazy how humble they still are too. Like so. They had an opportunity to like meet Cardi B and stuff, and she just was like, I didn't know who y'all was, but like it kept hitting my timeline, and now I finally like see who y'all are and shit. Like, what's up? And they like, you know us? Drake was out there talking to them, shaking their hands, talking. They was leaving the joint like, how does Drake know who we are? Like, you know, like we look at these artists from over, you know, in SK, and it's just for everyone in America to know us is just humbling, and it's still just like.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
That is
so
beautiful.
Like it's one thing for you to get to a point in sales or because I mean we've seen a lot of less talented acts reach heights that they probably never should have been. Right.
Peaks, yeah.
So it's one thing to get there. It's another thing to get those cats in the studio and they're everything that they're fucking advertised to be. Like that's a completely different thing. And these guys are everything they're advertised to be. You could put them on anything. Like they had one bad, I won't even say bad. It was a shaky live performance with the guy, what's his name? He did You Just Want Attention.
Charlie Puth?
Yes. And they came back and they crushed
and I
every live performance after that.
Performance. The build up to that performance, and I swear I just was going to speak on it. So JK met with Charlie Puth. Y'all know the artist?
Yeah.
That's him.
We don't talk anymore.
That's Sam. Isn't that Sam Smith?
That's Sam Smith that you think about.
No, I said it's been a long time without you, my friend. That's him.
See you again.
See you again. That's not Sam.
Wait, that's Charlie Puth?
I believe it's Charlie.
Oh wow! Shout out to him. I thought it was Sam.
What y'all thought it was on there?
Thought it was Sam.
That's
Charlie Puth. Yeah, it's like one of his first joints. But JK went and talked to him. Mind you, it's a language barrier and everything and shit. When I tell you him and JK just sitting down, just vocalizing and just harmonizing, going back and forth for like 20 minutes, sound like just music to my ears and shit. Just shit like that. Just like you said, when you meet him and everything is there. It's just like, yo, this shit isn't
advertised. Because
sometimes I know you can just go in the booth and start pressing buttons and motherfuckers be like, we gonna hit every fucking button in here to make you sound good.
Right.
But when niggas really, it ain't even no mics around. Like, and that's why the live performances.
Are we gonna let's edit this point? Give it space so we can edit. Are we gonna react to the behind the scenes of the Coldplay BTS John? I didn't think we needed to.
Yeah, well,
we watched that designer John.
Bring something up.
Well, yeah, I think at some point, I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to get to it today. Depending on
I mean like period. Yeah.
But I mean, even if you watched it and you could speak on it,
yeah, that's all right.
By all means.
So all right, let me count like 1, 2, 3. Well, yeah. So like, I watched the behind the scenes with Chris Martin of Coldplay when they did My Universe. I love Coldplay, by the way.
Same.
They just in the studio, like you said, just fucking singing out in the, not even in the booth, just in the studio singing, like doing the harmonies, going over everything, just shooting the shit, just talking. And you see, he's just naturally like, yo, I just thought My Universe is a cool name, and I told them, and like they loved it, and they was like, let's go for it. And so I wrote it, and we just talking about everything, and then you just see everybody in there singing. You see V and JK and them going there.
I'm about to move to South Korea.
Like that.
You've been saying that for like the last 3 weeks, bro.
All right, bro. Me and Jerry going to Seoul, and we gonna pop, bro.
And then I'm popping up in Busan.
Real shit. Me and Jerry about to be in Seoul, top selling crew.
Yeah.
We gonna break their records.
We gonna need that BTS feature at some point.
It's like, there's Janet compressor. You got a lot to say over that.
I remember you with that voice, right?
You thought we let that shit slide?
Yeah, you on my block now.
I'm like, Jerry, help!
Yeah, you
Shit gonna start feeling like sleeping dogs.
That's my shit. That's my favorite.
They know where you're going too. They gonna line right up outside Moon House.
Like I said, I'm gonna think I got that shit. And
She gonna be like, what's going on? Low about to come.
Crazy SK setup. She was like, yeah, slide. I'm over here.
It's gonna
naked,
be worth
love.
it. It's gonna be worth it. I'm like,
Third floor.
I'm like, you can at least fuck me first.
8th floor.
That shit gonna be like our group name gonna be like the raid trying to get through that shit.
J-Lo.
Definitely canceled.
Oh, so nobody else is in this group.
we a Redemption 46 subunit.
J-Lo.
That's even more funny.
We a subunit. J-Lo. All right, that's it for now on. When we on the thing together, we J-Lo.
127. Yeah. An hour and 27 minutes.
I mean, like I said, Patreon, they paying.
Gotta get this done by October 1st.
Oh, you'll be fine. That'll be fun. You better get it done.
Who needs sleep?
Like going to work tomorrow.
Like my job, right?
Gotta get this done for the culture.
Yeah.
See, nobody else is helping me.
They take risk. You take a risk.
But Ty and Keith, y'all want to add anything else? I feel like y'all might have talked less than all of us did.
Nah, I wanted to piggyback off something Jarek said about, them giving their all in every performance, and I feel like that's something that makes me appreciate them more, and that's something I always say is like they always put 100% into their performances, and even if they are having a bad day or whatever, you can't tell. You know what I mean? They don't ever let that come through their performance. They may make songs that might speak to what they're going through, but as far as them performing, it's 120% every time, and I love that about them.
I wonder what they're gonna sound like after service.
Listen, man,
I think that's gonna be the biggest anticipated.
After what?
After the service, after they come out the army.
Everybody's like, so this is a lot of people gonna be missing at separate times and everything like that.
Wait,
what? Y'all can let us know in the comments because some people didn't know if Arm was going to go do it when Jin did it at the same time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes some groups
are they going to the army?
It's mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory.
It's mandatory. They don't have a choice.
That you need to go to the
after a certain age.
It used to be 28. Mm-hmm. Now they moved it to 30 as a BTS rule.
rule.
That's another thing. They just stay up there, bro.
Yo, they got a whole rule named.
They got a whole rule for the government.
That's been long standing, way before them. That's crazy.
So when they reach 30, they're gonna have to go.
Well, how many years? 2 years?
I could be wrong. I thought it was a year and a half.
Yeah, I don't think it was 2.
However long it is, we gonna miss it.
Yeah, however long it is, it's Remizzle and
I'm gonna be
first, right?
I'm gonna be super interested to hear like the music after they come back.
Is RM's second oldest?
Yeah, Jin's the oldest. RM's the second oldest.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to go first.
RM is my fault. It's Jin, RM.
I think it's Sugar, because I know
they also talented.
Sugar,
if
Hope,
one goes away, another
V,
could pick up the slack.
Cookie.
Yeah, because
You get a co-star.
V and Jimin know each other like well before the PTS.
Which is why, not like I hope, so EXO is doing it now, where like people were transitioning doing it.
Yo, back we holding. Oh, wrong video. My fault.
Yeah, nah, it's cool though. You know. And then Taemin obviously is doing it.
That's gonna
Shiny,
hurt.
But he was the youngest. He was the monkey of that group. So you know what I mean. So sometimes, and some girl was talking to me about it on Patreon. Sorry, I can't remember who I was talking to. She was saying that like the military service is a benefit to their music. And when I asked her why, she was just like, well, she was like, take a look at Super M. She was like, one of the main reasons Super M got formed too was because a lot of the groups were going through military stuff and everything, and she was just like, the military stuff really, she said, it keep groups on their toes. It essentially forces you to be like, damn, we about to, let's say RM and Jen dip for 2 years or a year and a half. Damn, we just lost our lead rapper and one of our main vocalists.
One of our strongest vocalists.
Like the leader of the group is gone. At that point, I don't even know what happens because I'm assuming that whoever's oldest most of the time is the leader of the group.
Or the next Hyung.
Well, I mean, the benefit for them now is that a lot of them can speak English more fluently. So they don't have to worry about that barrier and having RM speak for them at that point.
Probably about to stock up like 10 songs.
Right.
They're about to drop a clip. She's about to hit the greatest album we ever heard in our lives.
They're about to drop a double album.
Send the fucking double album and shit while he... I was about to say why he booked.
While he upstate.
Free my mans.
That shit like free the homie, bro. Like he didn't do shit.
Put some money on the books.
Be on Twitter like free RM.
That's my shirt. I'm coming in here with it.
Free RM.
I don't think it'll matter, bro.
Somebody somebody, I forget what channel I was watching before, had made a video just like trying to guess how they should do the army thing. Somebody was like, yo, I think they should go in 3 at a time, then 4, and then just do it that way, and it'll be a gap of this. Or I think if these 2 went and this 1 went, then you can do the rap here, sing here, and it was confusing. Somebody had an alternate time.
Maybe they might do a plot twist and they adopt somebody.
So I mean, like if Jen and RM were the first to go off,
adopt us.
I think they would be all right, at least for a year.
Yo.
That shit almost be like anytime a rapper go, you gotta take a vocalist.
Dog. That's kind
of even that's hard.
So then the sound changes.
Somebody getting left out.
Nah, because now for a year and a half, every single time, you basically about to create a 5-6 year gap where y'all weren't together at all.
Dang.
It's almost just like, well, see, that was sucked completely.
Because then you gonna have to
do that neither. We're like, let's all do it right now.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What if they all took a hiatus until everyone came back?
Man, shit, it's COVID. This is right the best time to just bang your service out.
Like, I was about to say, just get this shit out the way.
By the time our service is done, we can do world tours, hopefully.
So they can drop an album. Albums usually sit on shelf for about a year and a half anyway.
I'm going to tell you right now that if they was to all say that like we took a hiatus until everybody's military service was obligated or whatever, just kind of went back with their families, did whatever the fuck. That would be the most anticipated album of all time. The only thing that would be more anticipated than that is if Pac, Biggie, Mike, and Prince all came back and said, let's drop an album. We resurrected. We're going to drop an album now. And even then, that shit might still have competition. Like
we resurrected.
That really, bro, would be the craziest like comeback like ever. Like
nigga, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm in the car like, oh snap, they back.
Bro, no cap. We keep talking about going. I would go to SK. I would go to SK for the comeback.
You gonna be in there like some bitches. Like,
Nick with his shirt.
Damn, that shit would be crazy.
It would. I wouldn't be surprised though if they were like if they prepared like 2 albums.
Yeah, that's why he said do the double album.
Yeah, like just have it done before they like
part
left.
1, part 2, you could drop them a year.
And like those videos are already recorded, all that stuff.
Well, they could cheat
That's
that.
why they said Beck and them did the.
They could cheat
Don't
that.
Fight the Feelings on.
Because they could do like animated videos. They could do,
animated videos.
So like Make It Right was an animated video. With contour footage spliced in. You know what I mean? So they can always do stuff like that.
See, niggas just gonna be pissed. That's what happened at the end of 2019. Niggas wanted to hear like on Make It Right and a whole bunch of other shit live, and it's just. I'm pretty sure that live shit is just gonna hit niggas differently than anything.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't tour, probably. I mean, that would be the time where you would duck away and be out of public eye, but you would still have the music out there
just
live.
Practicing my vocals.
Man, I think that I doubt they do that because that's not the way the world works now. But if they was to do like a cold, like, all right, look, over the next 5-6 years, however the fuck, because like I said, I don't think they all would go do their military service at one time. But if they all say, you know what, until like the group's military service is done, we taking a break. just reintegrate ourselves with our family. The streets would go crazy.
So
I don't think that's in their blood though.
If they are going to take a mass break, then I could see all of them going at the same time.
Yeah,
I don't.
But I just don't see that happening though. But
they are so into making sure Army is taken care of that it's just a thing where
they're gonna be like,
literally just be like, yo, we
can't leave.
Split ourselves up and just was like, this half go first, second half go first.
It's gonna be like 3J or it's,
exactly
something else or whatever the fuck. We no BTS.
Yeah, we can't leave the Army alone.
Yeah,
true.
That's my only thing.
But isn't going on that hiatus the same thing?
What?
Like if they were to just say we're going on hiatus until everybody does the military service, isn't that the same thing? It's pretty much just everybody falling back anyway.
Well, can you go earlier than the age that you're supposed to go? Oh, I mean, I'm not.
So that's what I was saying. So like, if they're going to like all agree, hey, we're going to take this hiatus until everybody's done.
That would be fucking
well, let's
crazy.
just make this quick. Everybody go right now. That means you're going for a
they'll
year
let us
and a
know in
half.
the comments.
And you come back.
I just from everything I've seen, they kind of have, I don't want to say next man up personalities, but
like
look,
said, they really
Sugar went and got surgery. That didn't stop them from performing or doing anything
No, it didn't.
else. So it's it's somebody got to rock for the group while other people is handling the business that they doing.
I can make it
So
right.
I definitely think they probably should do whatever to make that faster. But for all we know, they might just be like, nah, we just want to all wait till we 30 and then just go to. So. But that would really be almost a 7-year gap.
That's what I'm thinking. It's gonna be gaps. Like it's just a whole time period. But Nick, we didn't already. You got edit.
Yeah. As far as anything I had to say, most of it, like 80% of it, I knew already. It was mostly the origin of the record label. I knew RM was the first guy pulled, and so on and so forth. So that wasn't surprising to me. The jump. As far as how their fame took off, that did kind of surprise me. I knew they were. When you watch them, you get, I don't know why, but it's in your head that they've been around for a while, and it kind of was like a gradual build. It was gradual, but not that gradual. Like
some
it got
jumps
to
were
a
jumps.
right. Some jumps were
every jump.
Dwight Howard grabbing quarters off the top of the backboard type jump. We threw the roof on this, and when you see the albums that are laid out, like, oh, I love Save Me, but you mean the next one was like that much of a wow, okay. So I thought that was cool. But everything else, like 80% of the origin stories, I pretty much knew coming in to this guide. Me and Nick have talked about this forever when he was trying to sell me. He was like, yo, this guy and this guy, this person. And some things they didn't get into, like they didn't get into Sugar's background as far as him being poor and how he hurt his shoulder and things like that. So, I mean, but a lot of it I didn't know.
About that in the comments.
Oh yeah,
it's like V was the poorest one.
They say his family is farmers. But yeah,
farming don't equate to you being important either.
Depending on what you farming.
Yeah,
it's just hard work. It's just not easy work.
Labor,
right? But it's not equating to like being poor.
Well, we also speaking from an American point of view.
That's true. You call them cabrones. Wow.
Yeah, but.
Anything else from there?
No. I'm
You got yours off, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Jarek, anything else from there?
No, I don't.
Well,
J-Lo.
Yo, my neck go make money. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry.
All right.
Like, comment, subscribe. I'm glad we finally got to this point.
And we got more coming because
I'm glad we finally got to this point.
You sitting back like a proud father.
This is definitely a milestone.
Yeah.
A milestone night. Like, you got J-Lo in here.
Oh my God.
This was the creation of J-Lo.
Fuck, Nas not here, but man,
y'all want to run with that, man.
I feel like
why you trying to pour water on our fire?
Or Low J or Low J. I feel like J-Lo, like that. We're gonna revolutionize that name.
Y'all gonna light it up like Dynamite, huh?
On that note, no.
And then when you come in, it's J-Lo tie.
J-Lo tie.
Tyloje.
See,
that flow is better.
Tyloje, yeah.
Tyloje.
Sound like some bullshit SK weed.
Thank you.
You sick of that Tyloje? You said this shit off one hit.
Sound like somebody did a fucking line.
Nas gonna be the one, since he's good looking, he's gonna be there. So Tylo J Nas.
Tyloje Nas.
So just Nas the visual.
Yeah.
He the mascot.
He there for the ladies.
That's it. And I came a long way, man. I feel like I came a long way.
Me too.
Definitely.
No, you haven't.
Definitely Jarek too. No, Jarek did too because, like I said, No More Dreams. He apologized to Army. Yeah. Now tonight, I feel like we both like, damn, like I want to see more. Like,
yeah.
They in the Patreon too. I'm pretty sure I screenshot and sent you to Joan. They just like that was very big of Jarek to apologize and everything. Like,
yeah, just you know, it's okay to be the bigger person sometimes.
It sounds like he on his redemption tour.
Definitely a milestone, and probably definitely why I felt ways when people started saying just comparing groups and doing other things, and I used to just be like, yo, just chill, watch a God y'all will see. Like it ain't no fucking comparison. It's BTS.
We'll still compare. No, it's music at the end of the day.
It's music,
but the love, the respect there though. Mm-hmm. That is gonna hit different. So.
But y'all always gonna get with our channel. I got a hashtag. I really gotta get us redemption shirts to say fucking.
That say fucking?
To say honest and honest but respectful reactions or something. Because people kept saying that.
Yeah,
shit too,
I keep saying that a lot.
It was like we just like how it's real. We'll do something.
Yeah. We appreciate y'all.
Real and respectful.
Get the fuck out! What Juicy say?
What Juicy say?
Yeah, that's we're gonna get sued for that shit.
Yo, man, like I said, I'm not even gonna do my usual spiel. I just want to say, but I had to Army.
But I had.
Out of here.
Love y'all to death, yeah.